What's up, guys? This is the long-awaited GP Luffy guide slash breakdown, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully I don't forget to go over anything important, but without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff throughout the video, but I'm going to start with kind of like the basics. So the cards you would play going first and second, so your second curve and your first curve. I'm starting with the second curve because that's generally the better curve. That's like God curve if you get all the cards. So let's start. You're going second. You either want to play 2 Searcher Namis or just the 2-drop Searcher Nami, either or, just, searchers. And then you go to your forward on turn. And you play Zorojuro, search, grab your Sanji Puddings, grab another Zorojuro, whatever you need at the time. And the next turn you'll be at 6 Dawn. So you can go Sanji Pudding. Sorry, I'll do the stuff. You go Sanji Pudding for 5, and then you leader effect, Dawn -2, restand 2, and then you'll get 1 back. So you have 4. Just play another Zorojuro. So just like that, on your third turn, you have a wide board. And then on your next turn, it's even better because now you're not going to have this every time, obviously, but this is the God curve, because then you'll be at 7 Dawn, so you can go Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding, and then you'll have a perfect board with double Sanji Pudding, double Zorojuro, and a Luffy Taro on just your 4th turn, and you're going to have all the tempo in the game, and it's going to be so hard to lose at this point. But so yeah, that's like the strongest curve you can go out with, and this is like your best. If you have these cards, this is your best move like almost every time. But depending on the matchups, you might want to like do some stuff over, like Zorojuro, for instance, like against Mihawk or Crocodile or whatever like curve heavy deck you're going against. It might be smarter to play this off your first Sanji Pudding. So instead of going Sanji Pudding into another Zorojuro, if they've searched out a Shanks, so you know they have a Shanks in hand, you can go Sanji Pudding and just play this to stun a Dawn instead of playing the Zorojuro. Then they can't play Shanks next turn. Or if you want to just start with, on your 4 Dawn turn, playing this to stun a Dawn, so they can't play their 5-drop, that's also fine. And also, you can just, like, if you're going against Emu or a deck you need protection against, you can just sub in this instead of like a Zorojuro, or just whenever you have time to play this, it'd be smarter to play this early. Especially against Emu, obviously. But assuming that this is a Robin promo too, because they're about to come out, you're going to need to play this more often, like against blue decks like Jozu and Gravity Blade, or just anything that bounces. Yellow is a problem. And then also Stage. For now, it's going to be Stage because we don't have the Robin promo. So if you're going against Ace, they play Jozu, so you're going to want to find Stage early on so they can't bounce your Sanji Puddings. So if you want to go Zorojuro on turn 4, and then in your next turn, when you're at 6 Dawn, you can go Sanji Pudding, and then leader effect to restand your Dawn. And instead of playing like a Zorojuro, you could just play Stage, so you can buff so they can't bounce, and you could just like search some more, or like keep Dawn up or swing bigger. That's fine too. But yeah, that's the going second curve. It's really strong. What you do after that is completely up to you, because you're gonna have a full wide board anyways. Now I'm gonna go over the going first curve. Okay, so this is the going first curve. So basically what you just want is like a bunch of searchers, as many searchers as possible, and then like a Sanji Pudding. But honestly, if your hand's like double searcher, I'd probably keep it, but we're going to go over that later in the Mulligan section. But for the first curve, you either want to go 1-drop Nami or Stage for now while we have the Stage in, but the Stage is going to get cut for the Robin promo. So either or is fine. And then on your next turn, you play your Luffy or your Robin promo on 3 Dawn, so it's on the board early. You don't have to worry about it. Or if you don't have it, you can always just go like more searchers is perfectly fine. Sculpt your hand as much as you want, or find your Sanji and Puddings. And then obviously on 5, you want to play the Sanjin Pudding. Now, just to talk about it for a little bit. So you play Sanjin Pudding on 5, and most of the time you do just want a leader effect. So you're a 6k leader, and then you'll have a 3 Don back. And here you could either, if you drew into searchers like later than your 3 Don turn, like if you drew them on your 5 Don turn, then you could play more searchers or whatever, or you could play your promo / Luffy, or you can just swing big, maybe keep Don up. But you're really just leader affecting on this turn to be a 6k leader. So against like Boa and stuff, the 6k leader really helps, especially if you haven't swung yet and they don't have a Gorgon Sister trigger. But there is value in not using your leader ability if you don't need to. If you need the leader ability, it's fine. But if you have a Luffy Taro in your hand with another target off of it, it's actually better not to use your leader effect. So you spend your 5 for this and you just pass. And then your next turn, you'll have 7 Don. So you can actually just Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding or Zorojuro or whatever target it is. And playing Luffy Taro in that scenario would be really strong. But you're not always going to have the Luffy Taro in your hand. So most of the time you are going to leader effect. But that's just something you can do if you're going first. So you're kind of like off the God curve. And you can still have play Luffy Taro down. But if you do end up leader affecting because you don't have the Luffy Taro, you're going to be at 6 Don the next turn. So then you could just follow up with this combo or this instead of that. It doesn't really matter, but you can still go pretty wide. You're just like kind of 1 turn late. That's why going second is generally better than going first, but both are fine. I would say just take whatever curve your opponent wants, but second is a lot better. And just to like mention this, I do think it's better to go second against Mihawk. I tried going first against Mihawk a couple of times. I tried just taking their curve to see if it'd work out better, but I think going second is just generally better for that deck. But anyway, one more thing I want to talk about on the going first curve. If you, it's specifically against Boa because this won me a game. I didn't have Sanji Pudding on 5, so instead I played this Luffy on 5. And so basically what this does is you can be aggressive, which it's kind of risky because they can get trigger bodies, but you can be aggressive. And if you play this on 5, then they can't Kuma to heal. So then like if you get them down to 2 or 3 life, they can't re-heal. So then next turn when you go wider, it's going to be harder for them to like be aggressive because they need to heal, or if they choose to not heal, then they're basically just like really squishy, because Boa's really squishy in general, so it's kind of easy to kill Boa. But this is just something you can do to stop the Kuma play. But generally Sanji Pudding is better. I'm just saying if you don't have the Sanji Pudding, you can play this instead, and it's not as bad because then they can't Kuma or they can't play Gorgon Sisters. So yeah, that's basically it for the going first part. Now I'm gonna go into talking about mulligans. Okay, so for your starting hand going second, you either want to see double searcher at least, or triple searcher. You definitely keep triple searcher, but you want to see at least double searcher if you don't have a Zorojuro, or if you have a Zorojuro, 1 searcher's fine. Or if your hand is just kind of like decent in general and you have a Zorojuro, it's fine. But really, going second, you just want to be able to play Zorojuro on 4. That's the most important thing. In some matchups, you want to mulligan for this card if you can't find it. Or if like you don't have a bunch of searchers, you want to make sure you have this card in your hand. So maybe your hand's decent and you have this, maybe against Emu or something. So you want to keep it. But yeah, generally you want your hands to look like this. I mean, obviously this is like a really good hand, perfect hand, but double searcher is fine, or Zorojuro and 1 searcher is fine. You don't really need a lot of counter in your starting hand, if any, because you're going to take your first 2 swings anyway most of the time, because GP's a deck that really doesn't care about their life early game. They just take. You know, you stay at like 1, or some matchups you want to stay at 2, but it's fine to go low on life and just have a big hand size. That's what you want to do, because the bigger hand size is what matters with this deck. Unless you're going against pudding, then you know you want to not get puddinged and lose the game. But yeah, so I'd say Mulligan for these targets, double searcher or Zoro searcher, or just whatever can get you to Zoro, it's fine, okay? Honestly, that's all you need going second. And then your Sanji Pudding will come. You could search it off the Zoro or your other searchers. It doesn't really matter, but the Sanji Pudding will come. Just focus on Zoro when you go second. Okay, so when you're going first, you generally just want to see like 1 searcher, and Sanji and Pudding's fine. You want to have 1 Sanji Pudding in hand going first most of the time, but then if you have like triple searcher, no Sanji Pudding, it's fine, because you're bound to find 1 off of 3 searchers, like surely. But most of the time, like this is fine. Just having 1 searcher and a Sanji Pudding, like that's a keep hand. And just having like a lot of searchers, or your Luffy / Robin promo, whichever, is fine, because you play this on 3. Like the perfect hand would probably be this, and then just like 2 blank cards, because then you can go 1 through 5. But that's you're just really lucky if you get this in your hand. So you're not always gonna have this, but as long as you have these, and then you can just have extra searchers or whatever, it's fine. You can search, find your Sanji Puddings, or you can find this. And then on your 3-Dawn turn, if you don't have your promo, then you can just play more searchers so you can find it. So that on your 5-Dawn turn, you can play this leader effect, and then you could just protect your board with it. So it's not that big of a deal if you don't have this in your hand, because all the searching you do. So going first, you just want searchers and Sanji Puddings. And then obviously, like the turn after, you want to like set yourself up to be able to go Sanji Pudding, Zoro. So just keep that in mind when you're searching. I'm gonna have a section to talk about searching next, but I did forget to mention this when I was talking about going second. I was talking about you need Zoro. Any 4-drop is fine. If you have this is fine, especially if you're going against Mihawk or something that's very curve dependent. So if you don't have Zoro, for sure just play this. 100% okay. You just want to go wide, but Zoro is just better because it replaces itself. But yeah, that's it. Now I'm gonna talk about searching, because it's actually kind of difficult when you have when you search so much and you bottom deck so many of your good cards. You kind of have to be smart about what you grab in your searches. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about searching more. I'm first going to say that make sure that you don't grab this off of your Nami searchers, either one of them, because it's not searchable. You can't grab Nami off of Nami, unfortunately. It's a really good card, but it is not searchable, because you can't grab it off of Zoro either, because it's not purple. So do not grab your Namis when you're searching. And now I'm going to talk about going second, and you play your 1-drop Nami. So we're assuming you don't have Zoro in your hand, and you play Nami on your 2-Dawn. Most people, when they're searching, they see Sanji Pudding and they just insta-grab it. Or not most people, but like if you're learning the deck and you're like, hey, Sanji Pudding's the best card in the deck because it's like the most important card for you, because you can't really leader effect without Sanji Pudding. So it is the most important card in the deck. But if you're going second and you don't have a Zoro in hand, grab the Zoro instead of the Sanji Pudding. Because you could easily just find another Sanji Pudding off of this Zoro when you play it on 4, or if you have another searcher. But a lot of people will just like instant tunnel vision to Sanji Pudding and grab it when you need to have a Zoro on 4. So that's just like a small tip for people that are like learning the deck, that try to always grab Sanji Pudding. It's fine just to take the Zoro, because realistically, you only need like 2 Sanji Puddings. And I mean, obviously the more the better, the more Dawn you get, but 2 is like realistically all you need. And it's more important just to play Zoro on 4. And basically the Zordra on 4 prioritizes over anything, like setting this in your hand or like Giant. But now on that note, let's talk about like, you need to remember, because you're doing a lot of searching, you need to remember what cards you're putting at the bottom of your deck. So say you searched and you bottom decked 2 Gum Gum Giant. Let me grab another Gum Gum Giant, because this happens a lot. So this is your search, and you want to grab Zordro for your 4-down turn, but you're putting 2 Gum Gums at the bottom. That means whenever you're searching off of the Zordro, or just like your other searchers that you play throughout the game, because you're going to search a lot, you need to make sure if you see a Gum Gum Giant to grab it, because you just bottom deck 2 of them, so you might not see another one. So just be careful of small stuff like that. Remember what you bottom deck. And like, if your first search is like double 2K and you grab Sanji Pudding and you're bottom decking 2 2Ks, and then your next search is also double 2K, it wouldn't be very smart to bottom deck 4 2Ks. So in a situation like that, you're almost kind of forced to grab a 2K counter. But something else to talk about is, generally you run 3 of these Rush Luffys. You only need 1 to close out the game. After you go your full curve, you only need 1 of these. So don't feel forced to grab it. But if there's not really like a super good target you need, you can go ahead and grab it, so you don't have to worry about getting one later. But just don't feel pressured into grabbing this if there's other targets that are better to grab, because usually this will come. You'll just have it naturally in your hand late game. So yeah, and then other stuff to think about is the matchup. Obviously, if you're going against Mihawk, you might want to grab this to stun their Shanks and their Tashigi if they have that on board, you know. Or if you're going against Emu, it'd be smart to grab DMG, because you're going to have a DMG for late game, or a Nami, but, you know, that's not searchable. Stuff like that you just have to keep in mind when you're searching. And also, if you're going second and you have like Zordra or Sanji Pudding, it would be smart to grab the Luffy Taro to go like ultra wide God Curve. So yeah, that's just stuff to keep in mind when you're searching. Don't like bottom deck too many 2Ks at one time, or like you only run 1 of this card in your deck. So if you want to use it this game, if you think you're going to need it, I would grab it. But just I would say just make sure you prioritize the right things when you're searching, rather than just tunnel visioning Sanji Pudding. Obviously Sanji Pudding, sorry, I'm like tripping out. Obviously Sanji Pudding is like a really good card, and you need it. And a lot of the time, yeah, just grab Sanji Pudding, but just make sure you're like looking at the game state when you're searching to decide what you really need in that time. But yeah, always grab Sanji Pudding. It's just goated. No, but as I was saying, you only have 1 of these in your deck, so if you want to play at this game and you see it in a search, you're going to need to pick it up. Otherwise, it's going to be at the bottom, and don't expect it to come back. I mean, you can loop your deck. It's not like uncommon to loop your deck, but don't expect to see it if you bottom deck it, is all. And be aware of how many 2Ks you bottom deck also, because most of the time you want to go low on life. So late game, whenever they're pushing for game and you have like 8, 9 cards in hand, and you don't have many 2Ks, but you're hoping to like draw 2Ks off your Giants, just take a second to think about how realistic that would be. If you bottom deck like 6 2Ks, then you're most likely not going to draw into more. So just keep that in mind. And yeah. Okay, so I'm going to briefly go over a couple like small combos that you can do. I'm first going to talk about this. This isn't really like I mean, I guess it is a combo, but this is like a way to ensure game. I did this yesterday. I was testing against Emu some more, and I played this and I stuck it on board, And then so when you're going for game, when you know you're gonna go for game in the next couple turns, play one of these, stick it on board. It's not just against Emu, it's against like literally anything. And then if you have these 2 cards in your hand, you basically win the game if you have a Luffy on board. Because you just DMG, rest 2 blockers, or like if it's Mihawk, Dawn, if it's, I mean, a lot of decks use counter events nowadays, so just Dawn or blockers. It doesn't matter, just DMG to rest if you need to. And then you could just plus 6k Luffy and then swing twice really big and just kill them. And it basically ensures the game if you have these 3 cards and this is on board. And this is really strong. The 3-card combo, this is really strong for ending the game. So next I wanted to talk about these 2 cards. Against any deck that like here, I have these, for example, like Crocodile or Mihawk or literally anything. So say they went Miss All Sunday into this or any of these 3 targets. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one. We'll just say it's the blocker guy for now. And you can just play Nami for like an aggressive tempo take, and you just arrest both of them. And then you get 5 Dawn at the end of your turn. But then you can play this to stun both of them. So now they have 2 bodies that they can't use. So they just played this last turn, and now they just can't even use them, which kind of blows for them. But you freeze both of them, and then at the end of the turn, you get 5 Dawn for your counter events, and it's a blocker. So it's just a really strong tempo card. And yeah, it can really change the game for you and take like a lot of the pressure off, especially against like Mihawk. If they have Shanks, Tashigi, their cards are already going to be rested, so you don't really need the Nami. But yeah, you can just freeze them, and it's just so much tempo. And another thing is these 2 cards. So going second, you're going to have 6 Dawn. Say you have all 4 of these in your hand and you're on your 6th Dawn turn against Emu or really anything where you need this Luffy on board or the promo Robin or whatever, any type of board protection. If you have these 4 cards and you're on a 6 Dawn turn, instead of your normal like Sanji Pudding, if you have Zoro, if you want to go to this, Sanji Pudding and this, what you can do is you can play Sanji, restand your Dawn, play Luffy, and then just pass. And then next turn, you can just Luffy Taro into Sanji Pudding. And then it effectively makes your game better because the Luffy is buffing your Sanji, so it's an 8k the whole game. And you're getting a Dawn at the end of every turn. And if you just go Sanji Pudding into this Luffy, you can't play the Sanji off of Luffy Taro, so it just makes more sense to do it that way. You're missing out on a leader effect for 1 turn, but honestly, I think it's fine most of the time. And especially against Emu, I think it's fine. Because life isn't really an issue. It's just whether or not you can kill them after their first 10 Dawn Elder's turn. But yeah. One more thing I wanted to talk about in this section. It's not really about combos, but I want to talk about Dofi for a second. This card in particular. I feel like we're just naturally really good into Dofi. So when you're on your 6th Dawn turn, just make sure that when you play you have your Sanji Pudding and your Zoro Juro, make sure you don't swing if they have this on board before you play your combo, because then they can get this effect off. So if you didn't know, if your opponent has 6 or more Dawns, you could play a 5-drop from hand. And when you leader effect, you're basically negging a Dawn, so you're at 5 Dawn instead of 6, so they can't get this effect off. So if your opponent tries to get the effect off when you're at 5 Dawn and after you've used the leader effect, don't let them. And so yeah, it's just an easy way to counter Sugar early game, so they can't just like put a Virgo down. And another thing, try not to let their Virgos get a lot of value, because if they're a good Dofi player, they're gonna try to like play Virgo and pressure your Sanji Puddings and stuff. Just don't let them get value off of that. Don't let them like rip a bunch of cards out of hand. And one more thing is, if they have 2-Don up for slow beam, just always swing your Sanji and Puddings first, because it's a 7K swing. So they would have to slow beam plus another card, and then they just rest whatever. Just don't swing with your Zordros first, because it's a perfect plus 2K out, and then they get to rest your Sanji Puddings. So just make sure you swing with Sanji Pudding first. And that's it, really. I'm not going to go over Mihawk, really, because Mihawk is... I've talked about Mihawk a lot, I think. And it's not that hard of a matchup. But let's talk about Boa a little bit. So... Boa's pretty easy too, because they're really squishy and you go so wide. If you go second against Boa, you're almost like guaranteed the win. But going first, it can be a little close. I would say just don't swing until you get your Sanji Pudding out first, and then on your first Sanji Pudding turn, you're fine to just swing, I think, because you wanna pressure their life before they can Kuma anyways. So yeah, always swing when you play your first Sanji Pudding. Don't just like full starve, because that's just not a good strategy, especially when you're a deck just going wide. But yeah, you just want to go as wide as possible with this deck. Against most decks, you always just want to go wide, but against Boa in particular, you want to have as many swings as possible. Yeah, what else can we talk about? Obviously, against Emu, you want to have your board protection. Against Ace, you're going to want to have your Robin promo, or if you're playing Ace literally tomorrow and you don't have your promo, find your stage, or you're going to get Jozu'd to death. Just always grab your stage. Another thing is against like the Moria package, the Perona, damn, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the Perona stuns a 5 cost, I believe, or is it a 6? I don't remember. The Moria package basically can stun your guys. So you might want to find your stage against yellow-black Moria, or just like a yellow deck using the Moria package with Perona. So just keep that in mind if you're going against the Moria package, that you might need stage so your Sanji Puddings can swing. And generally, against yellow-black Moria, you don't want to swing super early. You kind of just want to like establish a board first and then swing out. But yeah, against decks like that, you just don't want them to heal a bunch. I think that might be it. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about the Robin promo, what we're going to be cutting. I already cut the Searcher events. So the targets to be cut off of the Robin promo are definitely going to be between these guys. Sorry, I'm just digging through my deck. Where's my other... Oh, there it is. Okay. So obviously these guys... for Robin promo, like these are already just like, you know, fill-in slots for Robin promo. And what I took out for those were the when you're at sea, you fight against pirates, the 1-cost Searcher event. So let's just pretend these are the 1-cost Searcher event. So you're definitely probably going to cut stage. So it's between if you want to do the Searcher event or the Sanjis. I think both are fine to do. I don't think Sanji's really that important. And honestly, it's another brick. So you brick up more. So you can keep the 1-drop Searcher event for more searches if you think you need more searches, which I like. I like the event. I like having as many searchers as possible. But if you favor the Sanji route, then you can keep the 2 Sanji, but definitely cut stage for Robin promo. And then it's between the Searcher events and the Sanjis, whichever you prefer. I'm probably going to try both and see, because the Sanjis honestly aren't played that much. When you do play them, they like help a lot with getting the Dawn every turn, and it's just a 5/7 that restands 2 Dawn, so it's a really strong card. But honestly, you just don't play it much. So you kind of just want more searchers. But we'll see when I test it out more. And yeah. Okay, so this is the list for the people that didn't watch my deck list video. This is the list I've been using. And I wanted to ask you guys if you wanted to see the Heron games. I didn't know if I wanted to record them and post them or not, because it's kind of like, you know, nobody wants to watch pre-release games, so I don't do those. But if you want to see the Heron event games, I will record them. Just leave it in the comments that you want to see them. I'll probably be playing Vivi or Promo Milnami, one of the two, just so you know. And if you have any questions about this video, if I skipped over some stuff, or if you were just curious about some stuff, comment below, let me know. And that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. It was fun to talk about GP. I love this deck. I'm going to be posting VV videos. My next couple of videos are going to be VV videos. I'm going to be playing VV for a little bit because the deck is so fun and it's out finally. I've been waiting. So I'm still going to be playing GP, and I'll post GP still. But just be ready to see some VV videos. So thank you guys for watching again, and have a good day. Peace.